Hello everyone, I'm Vincent Ang, and today we are kicking off a fascinating new series about molecular hydrogen and its incredible potential as a medical gas. Over the next 3 episodes, we will be chatting with our expert, hydrogen water expert, who will help us unpack the science and benefit of molecular hydrogen. He is a WQA Master Water Specialist, Certified Nutritional Consultant, Hydrogen Advisor. Welcome, the one and only Mike Long.
Hi, how are you? It's good to meet you. It's good to be here. I appreciate that you've invited me to join, and I'm looking forward to answering as many questions as we can. And if there's some questions that we can't answer, let me know what they are, and we can always do the research and look them up. So fire away.
Welcome, Mike. Welcome to the show. In this first episode, we'll be introducing the basic of the hydrogen. What is hydrogen? Why has it become such a hot topic in the town, especially in this health and wellness industry? We will explore its role as a medical gas and how it's making wave in the world of health. So let's start with a quick history lesson.
Sure.
Now, hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe.
Yes.
And it used date way back to the earlier dates of 1766. Hydrogen was first identified as a distinct element by British scientist Henry Cavendish. Until today, we have over 2,000 publications, including more than hundreds human studies about the medical effect of hydrogen. So you know, this stuff is everywhere.
Yes.
But using it for health, that's something new for us.
Yes.
Well, so Mike, why don't you kick off by giving us a quick overview of how hydrogen has evolved from a simple element to a medical marvel?
Okay. I think that you mentioned it. Hydrogen is the smallest atom in the universe, and it's the most abundant atom in the universe. And yet, it's only been recently that science has begun to delve into the marvelous applications of molecular hydrogen. And you mentioned in the late 1700s, it was identified as a separate element. But it wasn't until 2007 when some Japanese researchers actually started looking into the effect that molecular hydrogen had on the human body. And if you think about that, 2007 until today, that's not even 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yet think about this. How long did it take science to definitively prove that smoking was really, really bad for you? It took decades. I remember as a young kid going to visit our family doctor, and he's in the exam room smoking his cigarette. It's still so clear in my mind. It took decades. Think about seatbelts. How long have people known that seatbelts save lives in cars? Decades and decades. So it took so long for smoking and for the use of seatbelts to become popular because people either don't understand or they resist. The same thing we think is true with hydrogen, but in a much shorter time frame. If you think that from 2007 until now, by the way, there's over 3,000 published.
Oh my God, 3,000.
3,000 published papers now. And the evidence shows that hydrogen has the benefits to every organ in the human body. Every single organ can benefit from the marvelous effects of molecular hydrogen. So it's something that we believe within the next 10 years, let's say from 2024 to 2034, it's going to be as well understood and as well known as things like vitamin C and vitamin D and all of the other health nutrients and supplements that people today recognize as tremendous benefits to just about any application that you want to think of.
Great background, Mike. So let's break it down for our listener. Hydrogen as a medical gas.
Okay.
What it is and how it actually works for our body.
So hydrogen as we said, is the smallest element or the smallest atom in the universe. And if you take two hydrogen atoms, they are naturally weakly covalent bonded to each other. So you've got this something called molecular hydrogen, or in a free form, hydrogen gas. And what this gas does, or what this free hydrogen does, is it wants to attach itself to what we call free radicals. It wants to neutralize or reduce reactive oxygen species. And in this way, what it does is it acts as a powerful antioxidant, as an anti-inflammatory. And I think most of our listeners who have a little grasp of English will understand the word when I say disease. We talk about this disease, that disease, or the other. Break that word into two pieces. Dis-ease. It means you're not at ease. It doesn't mean anything specific by itself, but it means something isn't right. And more than 80% of diseases in human beings are caused by inflammation. And inflammation is a huge problem worldwide. It doesn't matter what country, it doesn't matter what race of people. Disease and inflammation go hand in hand. So even simple things like oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is a continuous state of disease, if you will.
Okay.
And over time, it builds up and begins to exhibit very negative symptoms in the human body. Molecular hydrogen is able to go into every organ, penetrate the blood-brain barrier, and actually go into the mitochondria so that it can influence or upregulate the production of ATP. And ATP is the engine, if you will, of our body. It's what makes things work. So molecular hydrogen has tremendous capabilities, tremendous applications, and it's one of the reasons that we're certain it's going to be a huge topic from now until who knows when, probably forever, because again, there's nothing smaller and nothing more abundant than hydrogen. It's what powers the sun.
So are you saying that our body cannot produce hydrogen or create something similar to against those diseases?
Okay. Our human body does produce hydrogen gas.
Okay.
It produces it in the gut, if you will. But one of the things that we know is that people don't get enough good food. They don't get enough exercise. They have too much stress. There's too many things going on in the world to interfere with the production of hydrogen. And here's something else that's rather unique that science is now finding out. Molecular hydrogen is what we call dose dependent. So the minimum therapeutic dose as recommended is 500 parts per billion. That's the minimum to have any benefit. If you have 1,000, that's twice as good as 500. If you have 5,000, that's 5 times better than 1,000.
Yep.
So the stronger the dose, the more efficacy that we see in terms of what the hydrogen can do. And hydrogen is really unique in the sense that it goes to the places that most need it. There are certain antioxidants that just wipe out everything. And yet our body needs certain oxidation processes in order to digest food, in order to fight infection, and all of these other things. Hydrogen goes, because of its weak covalent bonding, hydrogen goes to places like hydroxyl radicals. It goes to places of severe inflammation. It automatically knows, I shouldn't say knows because it doesn't have a brain, but it automatically moves to where it's most needed. So it's really unique.
Like neutralize those harmful free radicals. It's not those good ones.
Correct. So the good oxidative processes in our body aren't neutralized.
Mm.
It's those that are most harmful to the body that hydrogen goes, donates an electron, and converts those into something as simple as water, H2O.
Just now you mentioned about antioxidant. So
Mhm.
this is not something new to us. Usually our doctor will ask us to eat more veggie foods or even some vitamin C. Even in some skincare product, they also mention about antioxidant.
Correct.
So how this hydrogen so different from them?
Well, they're not necessarily different in the sense of being antioxidants, but what's different about molecular hydrogen is that you can take it in different forms. You
Mm.
can add molecular hydrogen to water like the Hydromi does. You can take hydrogen or molecular hydrogen as an inhaled gas.
Okay.
You can take saline enriched hydrogen as an IV. There's many different ways that hydrogen can be taken into the human body. When we start talking about special effects, a lot of that depends on what it is we're trying to mitigate or what we're trying to resolve. So there's nothing wrong with vitamin C. We need it. There's nothing wrong with D3. There's nothing wrong with those other things. It's just that hydrogen is specifically targeting the
Mm.
areas in the body that need it most. Whereas you take a good vitamin C and it perfuses your body and it does its thing. But with hydrogen, it's going to the place that it's most needed. Okay?
Yeah, so we know about the free radicals. Actually, it caused more than 170 diseases that related to our human. Is that so miracle that this hydrogen gas can really treat all these, you know, diseases?
Yeah, it's interesting that as I mentioned, since really it's only been since 2007 that any deep dives have been done, and there's still a lot more research that needs to be done and is being done. But it does seem that molecular hydrogen is kind of a miracle product
Okay.
because it has that ability, not only to affect every organ in the human body, and scientific studies have proved this, but the fact that, again, it targets the most harmful free radicals in the human body, as opposed to just wiping everything out in general, if you will. So there's a lot to be learned. We're learning more and more every day, and there's so much exciting research. And as a certified hydrogen advisor, that's one of the things I try and do is stay up on current research. And I've joined associations who promote the hydrogen research and therapy. So I look forward to sharing this kind of information with everybody as time goes on.
All right, thank you, Mike. I think we know that hydrogen really can neutralize all the free radicals, protect ourselves from damaging. So thank you, Mike, for such an insightful information. Join us in next episode where we'll be discussing the health benefit of hydrogen water and what diseases it might help with. Don't miss it.